Hey, how you doing? Justin here. Today we are going to be talking about transcribing riffs. Now, as part of your journey as a guitar player, there's going to come a point where you need to start working out songs on your own. You need to develop your ear to be able to tell if tabs are wrong, if you're using tabs or sheet music or whatever. But the skill of learning things on your own is really important. It's much more important than just learning the songs. It helps develop the relationship between your musical imagination, the sounds that you can hear in your head or hear externally, and how to get those sounds out of your fingers. Now, the course of this lesson is going to be, I'm going to tell you some songs that I think that you should try and work out on your own, first of all. Now, if you're feeling confident, I would stop the video at that point and then go and have a try at working out those songs on your own without any tips at all. After that, I'm going to go through each one of the songs and give you a couple of tips. But I wouldn't recommend that you watch all of the tips before you try. Just use the tips if you get stuck on the songs. I'm not going to take you through all of the riffs and show you exactly how to play them. That's not the point, but I might give you some little tips on hand positions and starting notes and that kind of stuff. But like I said, I'd really encourage you to have a go without any of the tips first of all. Just have a go. I'm going to tell you what the songs are. Just go off and see how far you can get with any of these songs. First one. Really simple song. It's the riff from Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones. Only three notes. It's really simple. You could even play it with one finger if you wanted to, okay? It's kind of that end of the neck. Just go and have a go at it. Next one, Bob Marley, Redemption Song. What we're after is that little riff played at the beginning. It's really naked there. There's nothing else going on, so you should be able to hear the riff really clearly. The boo doo 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 boo doo 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 doo. Very simple riff. Very obvious. Again, it's kind of that end of the neck. So if you're trying to find it up here, you're barking up the wrong tree there. So it's down that end. On the original recording, there's quite a few kind of hammer-ons where he's playing an open string and then hammering the note really down really fast. I would just completely ignore that. Just go for the melody. Being able to sing them is going to be really helpful as well. So being able to do exactly what I'm just doing, is going to be really helpful because that means that you've got the sound of the melody that you're trying to work out already in your musical imagination. So listening to the songs a bunch of times, getting them really familiar to the point where you can sing them and you know what they're going to sound like, you will find really helpful. I am going to give you some more tips as we go along with this as well. Next one, another one, Bites the Dust by Queen. Just that, not all of the fancy funky guitar parts or any of that, just the riff part. It's actually played by a bass. The guitar kind of doubles a little bit later, but again, it should be relatively easy. One of the tips that not just for this song, but all of the songs, is you want to learn how to stop. Okay, so if you're listening to something, I use specific software called Transcribe, which will always play from the same place each time after I stop it. So I'll go do, stop, do, and I'll be looking for that note to try and find it, or do. And you get used to just trying to stop it after one note so that the last thing that you hear stays in your ear. So you've got a good chance of doing it. And then, of course, if you can play from the same place and keep stopping it over and over again, it's easier to get the sound of what you're trying to transcribe clearly in your ear. Next song, Deep Purple, Black Knight. Do 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 do. Just that part, not all of the rest of the song. Again, this is a really nice, clear, obvious one. I'll give you some more tips on this later on, but that's a good one just to have a bit of a go at and see how you get on. And the last one I'm going to give you is a little bit trickier than the others, but it's kind of like a bridging one to get us into the next series of these, because there's going to be 3 of these kind of beginner riff transcribing videos. The third one is Pretty Woman by Roy Orbison. Do 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 do. It's a little bit faster. Now, again, another tip I can give you if you want to use slow down software. There's loads of different ones available. Like I said, the one I use is called Transcribe ! There are possibly other ones that may be even better, but that one, I've just been using it for forever, so it feels real comfortable and easy for me to use. There's a free one called Audacity. A lot of people like that one. There's a much more modern new one called Capo. Sorry about my computer beeping away there. I don't know why it's doing that. Anyway, so it doesn't really matter what software you use. You could just go and use like any sort of MP3 player. The problem with those is that when you stop it, you have to rewind it each time. So getting one of those players that plays from the same place each time, you'll probably find helpful. If you're using one of those players, most of them will have a speed function. So for something like Pretty Woman that's a bit fast, it can be really helpful to slow it down. Slowing it down to even half often makes it a little bit difficult because the notes become a bit kind of, the word I use is warbly, but I don't know if that's the correct term. It just kind of gets them all sloppy and you can't really hear the pitch as well. So often you'll start at like around 70% of the real speed is a good starting point. If you have to go a lot slower than that, you might find it more difficult. It depends on how fast the song is. If it's crazy fast, you might go slower than that. But for something like Pretty Woman, maybe slowing it down to 70% will give you a better chance of hearing each note one at a time. And again, trying to figure out where to stop. Do, do, do. So find that first note. Do, do. I'll give you a hint on that. I'm going to give you hints on the first notes of these riffs in just a sec. But find the first note, then do, 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 stop. Do, 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 stop. Do, muck around until you can find the note. A lot of it's going to be trial and error at this point. Okay, a lot of it's going to be really difficult. Every single student I've ever taught transcribing to has complained about it, has moaned about how difficult it is. The reason is that the learning curve on the initial starting of transcribing is real steep. It plateaus out real soon though. So when you first look at it, you're like, oh my God, I'm never going to get up there. This is too hard. I can't transcribe. You just have to keep at it. Little small, steady steps. Sometimes it won't feel like you got very far in your practice session, and that's okay. You will have made improvements. You just won't have noticed. Okay? So don't be disheartened and feel like I can't do it. I've never had a student. I had one student. I always say never, but I had one student once who just couldn't hear pitches. But only one student in 30 years teaching who couldn't learn to transcribe. It is possible. It just takes a little bit of grit. You have to sit down and go like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to sit here until I figure out how to play this song on my own. That's what you want. That's the kind of attitude you want to go in with it. And it will be difficult and it'll be frustrating. And some days you'll be like, oh, I just can't do this. Other days it'll be easier. It's the same for me. Some days my ear's on fire and I can work out anything at all straight away. One listen, I got it down. Other days I'm like, hang on, is that a major chord or a minor chord? You know, it's just... I don't know why that is, okay? But you'll experience that too, and that's normal. It's okay for it to be difficult. The more you do it, the better you get. You keep practicing it, you'll develop that relationship between what you hear on the external, hear out there, or you hear in your musical imagination, and your hand will just know how to get to that sound. That's a real cool thing. It's great for songwriting or for improvising because you can hear the sounds in your musical imagination. Your fingers can make it happen. And it's great for transcribing or jamming along with your mates because they can just play and you can kind of figure out what the chords are super quick and play along. It's a really, 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 really great skill to develop. I can't encourage it enough. So my advice for you right now would be leave and go and work out Satisfaction, Redemption Song, another one Bites the Dust, Black Knight and Pretty Woman if you can with no further hints. Okay, terrible for my YouTube algorithm to be telling you all to leave the video at this point. But anyway, that's actually really what you should do. So what I'm going to do now is give you some hints, not big hints, just little hints. And I'll probably put some more hints over on the website as well. So as part of the notes for this particular lesson, I might put a couple of what we call hidden tips. So you have to click on it for it to be visible. But don't use them if you don't have to, really. If you feel like, I'm hoping if you're watching this, you've already had a bit of a go at these songs on your own. If not, I really would really, really encourage you to just grit. Try and do it on your own before you watch these tips. Sorry, my microphone cable's sticking in the back of my hat there. Satisfaction. Super, super simple riff. I don't really feel like I want to give you any hints at all, but I am. It's going to start on the note B with the first finger in the second fret of the fifth string. That's the starting note for Satisfaction. That's all of the hint I'm going to give you for that one. You don't need any more. Redemption Song is also in this area of the neck. You'd start with your third finger on the third fret of the thicker string. That's the note G. And you would only need your second and third fingers. There's your tips for Redemption Song. You shouldn't need any more than that. Okay, starts down there, down low. Another one Bites the Dust. The do is the low E. Okay, that's enough. Plenty of hints on that one, right? You don't need any more. Deep Black Knight by Deep Purple. You want to start that one with your third finger on the 7th fret of the 5th string. So this one's the only one kind of further up the neck a little bit, okay? So that's your starting point. Third finger, 7th fret, 5th string for Black Knight. Yeah, and for all of the riff, you only need your first and third fingers for that one as well. Last one, Pretty Woman, starting with the low E again. And again, we're only going to be using our first and third fingers. You're in this position, so first finger is going to be in the 2nd fret and third finger is going to be in the 4th fret. Okay, that is more hints than you should probably have already. Okay, you should be able to work out all of those songs. Well, with these hints, you should be able to work them all out. You really, really should. If you can't, you just need to grit it. You need to sit down, listen to it over and over again, get it into your musical imagination, figure it out, write it down as you go, particularly for longer riffs like the Roy Orbison one, where do 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 do. There's quite a few notes. So if you're doing that, you want to write it down in tab. Hopefully you know how to read tab by now. So now it's time to start learning to write it. It's really simple, writing tab. And if you write tab out as you go, then you can make little notes about what the fingering was or what the order was. It also means that if you're having to work it out one note at a time, by doing that, stopping the transcript, the music each time to work out one note, means that you won't get lost, because that's the other danger if you don't write it down, is thinking that you're at this point and then you're actually at a different point in the song. Yeah, let me know how you're getting on there in the comments, okay? Particularly on the website comments are the ones that I check the most often. So if you're logged in, leave a comment below this lesson. Let me know how you're getting on. Did you find it really easy? Did you find it really hard? Hopefully, you will have found it challenging, but not too challenging, and you've been able to do it. And in a few lessons' time, if you're following along with my Grade 3 course, in a few lessons' time, we'll be having another go at some more riffs. We've got some chords and some power chords to work out in between the riff lessons, but there'll be another one with some slightly harder riffs that I know are really good ones for beginners or people starting on their transcribing journey. Really hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you for plenty more lessons very soon. Take care. Bye bye.